Welcome.
Howdy.
Howdy world. Happy leap year day.
That's
I
not
guess just
today.
I guess just happy leap year because it happened.
It was
Not that
yesterday.
like well, for them it happened last week, but it happened. That's all that matters.
All right. Do you feel different?
Somehow, yeah, I do.
Do you feel equal or equalized? Is that what's the point of leap year?
Cuz like the year isn't fully 365 days. It's like 365.25. So they like round it out with this is getting boring. I don't want to talk about this.
Well, John Mulaney had a really good joke last night on SNL about it, where he said, because he was the first host to host it on a leap year day,
Mhm.
and he said that Julius Caesar came up with it, and that they also, like a bunch of people from his, like, I want to say parliament, but that's not the right word. Like a bunch of people that were like in his, basically like a cabinet, they stabbed him to death. And then he was
Uh
like, I wonder if that could happen now. And then he also said, I asked my lawyer if I could make that joke, and then he asked another lawyer and he said yes.
That seems like
There
a
you
bad
go.
lawyer, right?
Made it interesting. I mean, well, it's just a like implication. You can't really say you could argue that you're talking about anybody.
Mm.
I'm a
Okay.
lawyer now. This is the lawyer hour. All
This
right.
is the leap year lawyer hour.
Leap year lawyer podcast.
No,
Ow.
this is not. This is the brother sister show. I am Anthony, and this
I'm
is
Livia.
Livia. Yeah, there you're taking a drink, but that's okay. And we talk about movies. But this week specifically, we're gonna be talking about the other guys. But before that, what's up? What have you seen? What's new? I haven't talked to you since last episode.
We haven't really, because I was gonna call you the other day, but then I was like, the
Save it.
podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I've actually seen a lot of new. Well, I've seen two new things and two new to me things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll do the new to me. I just finished like 20 minutes ago. A movie called Muriel's Wedding. It's with Toni Collette. It was on HBO. I think it was just added. It was
Oh.
really good. I think it's like one of her first movies ever. It was
Ooh.
funny, interesting, pretty dark. I love a funny, dark movie. So that one was good. And then I also watched When Harry Met Sally, which is a movie I mean, everybody's heard of.
Yeah.
And I think I watched it because I'm a big Q&A listener. I love watching like Q&As, even of movies that I've never seen. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was watching a Q&A of Ben Schwartz's, like one of his new movies. I already forgot what it's called, but Billy Crystal is in it, so he was there.
Oh
And then
yeah.
I was just like, another thing I do, and I think you do this too, is when I think of stuff, I just Google it. So I just like started Googling him and watching, like looking at all the movies he's been in. Um, and I saw that, and then I saw that it was on Hulu. I think that's what I watched it on. So I
Mm.
finally saw it, and it lives up to the hype because I think Ben Schwartz said that it's the perfect movie, and I was like, well, I don't know if he's saying it because he's there, but it was pretty good. I can see how, when you watch a movie like from back in the day, and you're like, oh, I see how like almost every rom com after this kind of copied that. That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened.
It's
But it's
interesting
good.
that you say that because I kind of feel that way about the other guys, but we'll
Hmm.
we'll talk about that further on.
But this one was more because it was in like, I don't want to say what year because I have no idea, but it was a while ago. I think in like the 90s.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, everything else feels, and that's the thing that's interesting about, if we ever have like one of our parents on, I really want to ask them about this, about how they feel about like when they see movies now and they're like, oh, that's just When Harry Met Sally. But for me, when I watched this movie, I was like, oh, I've seen that in this movie. And I know in my head that it came after it, so that movie's derivative, but it's just like a weird connection, because then I'm like, when I watch this movie, which is a very good movie, but in my mind I'm like, yeah, but I've seen movies like this before. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
And so the two new movies that I saw, the first one was Pete Davidson's comedy specials, like stand-up special.
Yeah.
I it was fine. I think I laughed a couple of times. It's not that funny. He's one of those comedians that I forget is a comedian. Like I don't really know what he does because he's like on SNL sometimes. He'll do a movie every now and then. But yeah,
I
I
saw
think
yeah, I saw a notification on Netflix, or like Netflix sent me a
yeah.
notification that it was on there. I was like, "Oh, gotta check it out." He's funny.
It's okay. It wasn't for me. I think I mostly wanted to watch it because he's coming to South by, or I don't know if he is, but he has a movie coming to South by,
Mm.
and it's a Judd Apatow movie, so it's going to be
Oh.
really hard to get into. And it's that movie, and it's like the first night, and I've been making my schedule, which we could talk about later, but I've been making my schedule and trying to figure out like where I'm going to be, what movies I'm going to see. And I actually think I'm going to skip it.
Really?
Yeah, because there's this movie, I already forgot what it's called, but Alex Wolff is in it, and I read the description, and it really intrigues me.
Mm.
And the one thing I do know about South by is that most of the premieres will have like the people that are making it. I don't think they go to any like the second or third showing, but they almost always go to the premiere. And so I kind of have to pick and choose which premieres I go to because I don't really now I'm like I don't really care to see Pete Davidson. You know what I mean? So like but it'd be cool to see a Q&A with like Alex Wolff and then the other people that are and there's a lot of other people in the movie, but yeah, it's kind of a weird like dance I have to do with my time. It's a big that's what I've learned about South by. It's such a big like time thing. But I can get into that later. It's so complicated. It's kind of like making your class schedule. That's exactly what it feels like actually. Right.
Uh,
Where you're like, well, I want to take this class, but it's the same time as this class, but these two classes are next to each other, and I'll if I choose this one, I'll be in the same building the whole day. Like it's like that kind of dance, you know?
the rape my professor,
Yeah,
all that stuff. Yeah. Gotcha.
exactly. Okay, and then the last one I saw was a movie called The Lodge.
The Lodge. Wait, why does that sound so familiar?
You probably have seen a couple of trailers of it, but it was not really advertised a lot. I saw it in a lot of I seen like the trailer probably two or three times, but it was because I would go to the draft house. And the draft house will show like indies and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but it was very good. You probably I think it's like super limited release, so you probably won't be able to see it where you are, but if you do somehow find it somewhere, highly recommend. It's very, very good.
All right. Okay. Yeah,
But
I gotta do some research.
yeah, I guess a little synopsis for people that are intrigued is I guess without giving too much away, it's about it starts off with a divorced couple and like their kids and the dad is with another woman and then so after a series of events they want to go to their this cabin or I guess the lodge and the other woman is like left alone with the kids and it's kind of like it's a thriller, it's kind of scary-ish. Yeah, I don't know, I don't want to give too much away, but it is very mysterious and it is one of those movies too where I've seen, like I said, I've seen the trailer like two or three times, but I still had no idea certain stuff would happen. So you could
Nice.
watch the trailer and I think you'd still be surprised.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, those were my movies that I can remember that I watched.
Anything like with just life outside of
No,
movies? No.
um, not that I can think of. I'm getting a tattoo tomorrow. Not
Oh,
tomorrow, Tuesday. Another one.
what's it gonna be?
Um, I think we're gonna do this balloon animal that Emily drew.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
In San Antonio?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
still. Oh, sorry.
you're still what? No.
Well, I'm still registered in San Antonio to vote.
Oh.
So go and vote, kids. I'm gonna go take a day and get a tattoo, but I'm doing it mostly so I can go vote.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say that I stopped biting my nails.
Ooh,
It's
how'd you do
done.
it? Shock
I was,
therapy?
I just had Caleb punch me every time. No, I was just looking at my nails one time, or like just this past week, and I was like, man, that's gross. Like if someone looks
Yeah,
at that, that's just gross. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop. I
your
haven't bitten
nails
my
are.
nits. I haven't bitten them since. But also, I only know how to cut my toenails, so I don't know how to cut my normal nails. So they're like all jagged, and I gotta work on it. That's something I
Why
gotta
don't
work on.
you go get your nails done?
They're not that long. I don't know.
Actually, I would prefer that. I would recommend that to get your nails done because I don't really like to do it that much because it costs a good amount, but some of my guy friends go and get their nails done and it's really nice because you feel like really clean and they also the one thing I don't like is they massage your hands and it's very strange.
Gross.
That's a little weird, but it is kind of nice because you get like your hands feel like really nice and
Yeah. No, I
it'd
don't
be a
know.
cool date for you and Kayla.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I just stopped. I don't know. Like I also haven't like felt the need to bite my nails. So
That's
I
good.
think that's done. Just cutting it.
Oh, I guess I
Um,
do have something that I've cut. So I'm trying I want to like challenge myself to get rid of certain things in my diet, but I'm the kind of person that if I say like I can't drink soda for a year, I'm probably not going to be able to do it because
yeah.
it's the pressure of it and also if I just drink one soda the like 2 weeks after, then I just beat myself up for it for too long. So I'm gonna do like a month to month thing to try to
All
make
right.
it fun for myself. Where like, so this month, which starts today, I'm not drinking soda and coffee for the entire month. And then the next month I can drink it again and I'm gonna like give up like, I don't know, alcohol or something.
Gotcha.
And
That's
the
cool.
idea, yeah, and the idea being that after this month, after not drinking coffee or soda, that I could still have it after March, but I won't want it because I'm like, oh, I went a whole month without it. I don't need to like do that.
Yeah,
But
setting up that mentality.
exactly. And I'm like, I'm gonna build up to certain things. Like I think one month I want to go where I get rid of like red meat.
Hmm.
And then one month, I don't know if I'm going to actually do this, but it'd be interesting to try to do non-dairy for an entire month.
Oh.
I also want to do just water one month where I don't drink anything else but water. Um,
Oh, and then you can do like eventually you could just not eat
yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah. Mm. I just starve to death
Just
and then
stop.
die. Yeah.
And that's the end. You have completed everything. Full
One
circle.
month I just eat cat food.
Yeah. Yeah, you eat like Ari, your cat.
One month I'll eat something, or everything I eat has to be orange.
Yeah, just really random. Or from a trash can. You can only find it from a trash can.
All right, well, yeah, I guess that's my life update. I don't think I have anything else, but yeah, some upcoming stuff, but I don't want to say anything about it yet.
Yeah. Well, as far as movie goes, I have seen I've seen one movie besides besides the other guys. I've
Yeah.
seen one movie. It's just school's just been it's been hectic. Not hectic, but I just been focusing on that. But I went to go see Brahms, The Boy 2.
God.
I don't even know where to start. It fell short in so many different ways. I could say with the utmost confidence that I will forget that I saw this movie less than a week from now. The story was wild, didn't make any sense at the end, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Like I forgot that I saw the first one. I forgot the story of it, but then I did research. I remember like what happened. I was like, yeah, that was okay. Like that they could have left it at that, but this after this one, I don't even know. That was yeah, that was bad. But the only thing besides that was a show. I saw the entirety of Hunters with
Is it good?
Logan Lerman, Al Pacino, Josh Radnor. Um, I liked it. Uh, what's his name? Jordan Peele is an executive producer on it. Um, it was I'd recommend it, but it's one of those shows where they kind of like spoon fed a lot of the reveals to you, and some of it felt forced. Not all of it, just some of it, and then some of it was pretty cheesy. Um, the crazy thing about it is I had no idea that part of the story is actually true, that Nazis were brought to America like after the war, and they just like lived as normal Americans, and like
Ugh.
the government brought them. It wasn't just like they came over here. Like the government was like, "Hey, come here." Crazy. Um, one of those shows that the one season by itself would have been fine, but I feel like they're gonna make another one for sure after the end of it. But I'm excited to see what can happen after it. I don't know. Some of it. Logan Lerman's such a funny actor in which like when he gets angry, it's like the same thing over and over. You could see.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I felt like I was because some of it I was watching while I was doing homework, so I would just like listen to him cuss and yell. I'm like, did I rewind and watch the same thing over? Because it just feels like the same thing.
Wait, I
Um,
have two things
but
about
yeah,
that show. One is a question. How many scarves did Al Pacino wear during the filming of it?
scarves,
Yeah.
a
Well, I
lot
guess
actually.
really?
I think so. I top of my head, I can remember two, maybe.
Okay, this is more of a film sweater thing, and you don't really watch awards, so you probably don't know this, but just look up Al Pacino red carpet. He's always wearing a fucking scarf, and it's always like super lopsided. Like one side is super long, and the other is up to his nipple. It's very weird.
No,
The second
like
thing,
it's like
oh,
tucked in to his coat.
he'll do that too, but I guarantee the top 5 pictures that you find are gonna be him in a fucking scarf. Oh, and the second thing is that I actually 3 things because it made me remember something else, but I was in San Antonio like a couple weekends ago, I think. I don't know
Hmm.
why. But I was in San Antonio a couple weekends ago and mom was watching it. She's like I think she finished the show too, and she said that she didn't like his face, Logan Lerman's face. She said that his mouth is always open. It's like, okay, but is the show good?
Well, the funny thing, because I texted her, I was like, I knew she would love the show.
Oh.
I actually didn't ask her about it after, but I was like, I knew she'd find it interesting. Just the whole like the fact that it's based on a true story, um, or real events. I texted her. I was like, "Hey, have you watched Hunters?" It was like the second day it came out. She's like, "Yeah, I'm on episode 9 or episode 7."
Psycho. Well,
She's
that's
like,
what she's like making shit, and so she just has always has something on.
I couldn't stop laughing after I saw that text. I just couldn't. Um, but yeah, that Brahms, and then This Is Us.
Wait, before we get into This Is Us, 2 quick things. So about the whole Brahms thing, I remember I thought I'd seen the first movie, but I haven't. There's a couple of movies that I think I've talked about JT before, but my best friend JT, he watched that movie and he asked me if I've seen it, and I said no. And so he called me and he literally walked me through the entire movie. So I think I've seen it. I know exactly what happens, but it's because he just told me what happened in the movie. Um,
It's
that's a good friend for you. to explain a really shitty movie so you don't have to go see it. The second thing is when I was in so mom came over to Austin because we went to QuiltCon. I can't believe I forgot about this. But we went to a quilting convention.
I saw the pictures.
It was interesting. Yeah, just a bunch of old women walking around a convention center looking at quilts.
That
It was
sounds so
actually pretty
funny.
interesting. It was very funny. And I was, Dad, when we got to San Antonio, Dad was like, "Were you like the youngest person by miles there?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely." Okay, this is us. We need to talk about it, or Dad will text us.
Yeah, that was so funny. What happened? I feel like so much is.
So we didn't talk about the Kate episode.
Oh yeah.
That's the one that Dad was like, "What happened?" But that was like, I don't know. It was kind of boring.
I wanted them to beat up Mark so bad.
I know. I don't know why they didn't. I also was thinking, I wonder what Jack would have done. He probably would have kicked the shit out of him.
Probably. For sure. I mean, he locked her out. I don't think she would have been at the cabin with him in the first place if he was
Oh,
alive.
that's so true. That's very true. Yeah, that none of that would have happened.
But if they got to that point, he definitely would have launched him. I'm surprised Kevin didn't do anything. Like, I just
Yeah.
feels like in Kevin's character to just like go after uh, a kid who locked out his sister for what seemed to be like a couple hours, but
Oh. Yeah, that was fucked up.
that's the only thing I remember from that episode. Or the latest one, this one was kind of like like not a lot happened, but it was mainly Toby. Toby and Kate are pretty much fine now, and Randall went to therapy.
Oh, okay, yeah, but we didn't talk about the cabin one where they went to the cabin.
Okay. I
And
mean,
that one was cool. That was actually a really good episode. I really liked how they
oh
had the time capsule, and then at the end they listened to his recorder thing. I didn't cry, but that got me emotional. But that was such a good like um I don't know, way to tell that story.
yeah,
They're so
and these
good at that.
writers, yeah.
They're really good. And the fact that he made that cabin, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that too.
The flash forward.
And he like looked at his past self, which is like, come on, because it's like him when they went to the cabin, and he's like looking up to see where his future cabin or future house will be, and then it's
Yeah,
him in the future looking back, like,
that was
whatever,
cheesy.
whatever. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
I I did like the therapy episode. Randall, he's too much, but that was pretty funny where she was calling him out basically. We're like because he acts like he's so high and mighty, and like he said, he if it wasn't for him, this family would not be together or whatever he said. And she was like, would they? They would. They'd be fine. I'm excited for the next episode though. Did you see the preview? I don't know if you watch it live.
I do. I I can't remember off the top of my head what
It
happens.
was like it was like a sibling rivalry comes to a head or something. It's about Kevin and Randall because like now Kevin is taking care of their mom,
Oh
and
yeah, because they
Randall's
go to
like,
the
I'm the only one that knows how to take care of her.
because he takes her to his premiere, right?
Yeah, ugh. He's so annoying. What a mama's boy. I hate mama's boys. Okay.
I know
You
you're
and
listening.
Homer.
Everyone out there. Oh.
Dang, you're definitely Randall.
Right.
Taking
I
mom
don't
to
even.
you and I want our version of This Is Us would be you and Homer fighting over who takes mom to QuiltCon. Homer's like, I know a fabric she wants to buy.
I already have it.
I have connections, Anthony. What do you have? Barbara. some special fabrics for Mom. What did you do? I bought her VIP passes, you bitch.
QuiltCon.
All right. Oh, okay. I'm not good at transitioning, but I almost
Okay, let's
forgot
go.
that we have that we have movie news. I
Oh, I
picked
have
out a
some.
few things. Oh, okay.
I have two
Um,
things.
I have three, but they can be quick. So the first one is that Damien, is that how you say it? Yeah, I read it. Do you ever read a word and you're like, that's not how you say it, but you said it right? That's what happened. Oh,
Never.
okay. It doesn't matter. Okay, that happens to me all the time. But he's the director of Whiplash, and he's coming out with a series on Netflix called The Eddy, EDDY. And the trailer just came out for it, or the teaser, and it's an intriguing look at a Paris nightclub and the people who run it. And it's set to premiere May 8th. So, since we're on Netflix all the time, I just figured I would say to look out for that.
All right.
Um, the second thing was not really news. It just made me laugh a lot. I saw this headline for an IndieWire article about Daniel Radcliffe, and it says Daniel Radcliffe likely won't return to Harry Potter franchise. Quote, those films are doing just fine without me.
Why is this news?
It's not news, but it just made me laugh. Well, because I mean, anytime that guy talks about Harry Potter, people just want to write about it. Like, of course he doesn't want to return to it. What else does he have to do? It doesn't make any sense, especially if you've seen the last Fantastic Beasts. It's really shitty and it doesn't make any sense. So why would he want to be any part of that?
I don't even. It's also like
Beneath him.
50, 70 years before Harry Potter was
I
even
know.
born. But that's getting real.
He's probably so annoyed though that people are like, he's like, they're making movies. Just talk to those people. I don't know. Um, okay, and the last one is the Candyman trailer.
Is this like a remake?
I don't know. I think it is. I think it's. Some people think it is. I don't know if they've actually said, but I think it's like a sequel, but it's, let me see, contemporary incarnation of the cult classic.
Mm.
And the original one was in 1992.
I remember seeing it. I saw the trailer or the teaser or whatever, and I was like, well, okay.
It
I mean,
looks interesting. I mean, well, there was a little bit of controversy about it because it kept saying it had like Jordan Peele's name on it, and that's what everybody's saying. Like Jordan Peele's anticipated sequel and Jordan Peele's this and that, but he's just a producer.
oh.
He's well, not just, I mean, he's a good producer, but it's directed by Nia DaCosta.
Who
And
that?
so people are at she's a rising filmmaker, so I don't think she has like a ton on her IMDb, but she has a movie called Little Woods. Let me
Oh,
see. But
I wouldn't
yeah,
even know.
but people are just upset because people keep saying like Jordan Peele, they keep making a big deal about him, but they're like, there's a up and coming young black director that's making this and nobody's talking about her.
Yeah, I get that. That's pretty
But
upsetting.
he did like it's people doing that. He did tweet like and he added her and was like, go follow her. She's making the movie and
Yeah,
it was
that's
written by
good.
her. I think written and directed or co-written.
Good
Yeah.
honor.
All right, what's your news?
I only have two things. They're both like superhero related. One of them I just remembered I had to write down. Um, but I guess Henry Cavill's in talks to be Wolverine in the MCU.
What? Oh my
I
god.
I don't know why.
I don't
It,
like
that
that at
shouldn't
all.
that should not happen. I saw a picture, a couple of other actors like their headshots. I was like that dude should be the new Wolverine if they are going to do that. But also, Wolverine's supposed to be short. That's like what everyone's saying. Wolverine's like 5 foot. Or are you casting
What?
six
Rest in peace.
six like above 6 feet. Henry Cavill was above 6 feet. Like, why are you doing that? Whatever. Like, that's just like really nitty gritty. But also Henry Cavill. I don't know. I feel like you could get someone else who would better fit.
Good casting.
Yeah.
I think didn't Hugh Jackman want Tom Hardy to do it?
I don't know. I feel like that's just your fanfic.
Probably.
I don't know. I just why?
Yeah, I don't think that's a
Part of me
good
just
choice.
wants him to stay Superman. I think that's what it is too for me. I feel like
And
he's in Man of Steel. He's a perfect Superman.
also, would the DCU even let him do that?
I don't know if he's like under contract still with the DC universe. I don't know any details. If he's in talks to, then I think he'd be able to. But
Oh.
I don't know. I know nothing. I just saw that and I was like, we'll talk about it. And the other thing happened a while ago. It was, I guess there's like no security on the Batman movie.
Oh yeah.
There was like a bunch of photos taken, videos of the costume and the Batmobile, or the Bat cycle, Bat motorcycle, whatever you want to call it. And everyone was just like trashing on it because it looked bad, but it wasn't Robert Pattinson in it. It was like a stunt double. So everyone was just like, it's okay that it looks bad because it's like a stunt one. Like it's has extra padding. It's different from what it would actually look like because he's a stunt double. And if you actually look at when they were shooting Black Panther and you look at the stunt double, like his costume, it's like loose and it looks super gross. If you look at it, it's like super bad. It looks like uh someone got it from Party City or something. It looks terrible.
Well, and also, have you seen those pictures on Twitter where like people put like they have like poster board and they rip it up and they show the before and after of like before when you're setting up the shot and then after when you take the picture and you edit and you go color correct and stuff. It's of course it's gonna look shitty. It's not gonna look like daylight. He's in a fucking cemetery. They're gonna correct
Yeah.
that shit. It doesn't make any sense when people judge stuff off of um like behind the scenes or like when they're on location or something. Of course it's not gonna look like that, dumbasses.
The only thing I will say that I was scared of, which I could see this changing, is the helmet. Because in the teaser, the test footage that they released, you could see above his eye line, and I was just scared that he would have like a bulb, almost like a fishbowl,
Oh.
and it kind of looked like that in this one, but it could just be like extra helmet protection for him because he was riding a motorcycle. So I just hope it doesn't look like he has a huge ass forehead. I don't know.
I
That's
think
the
it'll
only
be
thing that I see.
fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can't
Y'all
really tell
nerds
until
need
you
to
see the
calm
movie.
down. Yeah, it'll be fine.
It's not that it'll like ruin the movie for me. I just be like, it looks dorky. Batman
I
isn't
guess see.
dorky. Those are the only two things that I had.
All right. Ready?
Let's get into it. The other guys.
The other guys. Okay. So, The Other Guys came out in 2010. The director is Adam McKay. It was written by Adam McKay and Chris Henchy. The principal cast, which is an interesting. Where did you get this from?
Did I put that?
I didn't.
Oh, it might have been IMDb. Yeah,
Interesting.
it has to be IMDb.
This is an interesting. What's the
Order.
word? Yeah, order. Will Ferrell, Derek Jeter, Mark Wahlberg, Ava Mendes, Michael Keaton, Samuel L. Jackson, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The plot is two mismatched New York City detectives seize an opportunity to step up like the city's top cops, whom they idolize. Only things don't go quite as planned. It has an estimated budget of $100 million. Opening weekend, it made $35 million, and the U.S. gross is A little bit over 119 million.
Not bad.
Oh, yeah. Okay, for a comedy, that's not bad. The reception on IMDb, it got 6.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 78%, and Metacritic gave it a 64%, which is pretty. I mean, that's not bad. I think
78 on Rotten Tomatoes isn't bad for like a comedy. It's like an
no.
action comedy too.
I think, and if I were to pick which one of those is more accurate for like what I think Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
All right. Did you take notes?
I I took notes, but it's mainly just quotes that they say because
Okay.
the writing in it is so I don't know. There's so many good one-liners that
Yeah, yeah.
each character says.
All right. Well, I took notes, so if you have any that you see the quotes, you can just sprinkle them in. My first note is obviously of the opening. And there's two like big things that I really love about this opening is that they call out the fact that action movies love to destroy shit because people just like seeing that. I know mom likes action movies because she likes fighting and like the just like stuff being destroyed. But those, I can't really watch those movies anymore because it stresses me out how much money is being caused or how much money and damages is being caused.
Yeah.
It like I feel like I calculate it in my head and I'm like, okay, why did they slam into that building? I don't understand what's happening. Um, and it's also just an amazing joke because after that whole like beginning where it's really intense and they're like um they it was I think they said that whatever they were chasing them for was technically a misdemeanor. He just had like some weed on him, right?
Yeah. In other cities, it would be just a misdemeanor, but here in New York,
So I loved that opening because of that.
yeah, that
Um
was so funny.
I was wondering like I think I've said this last episode, but I don't think I've seen this movie before. I mean, I know some parts were familiar and I know I'd seen parts of it because I think it's one of those movies that's like always on TBS.
Yeah.
But I don't remember ever seeing this movie or like seeing it anything about it. So was it a huge deal when it first came out?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably not the best judge because I was 10 when it came out, but
Oh yeah, true.
I
I
definitely don't remember the end, so I don't think I'd seen all of it. So probably just the beginning, like it was on TV or something.
well, I was just thinking of if this came out today, I feel like it would be a huge fucking deal. Like
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe it wouldn't, but it was pretty funny. But also, if it came out and I didn't realize that Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell have been in a movie since together, and there was those Daddy's Home movies. So I feel like I feel like if they made this after that, then nobody would want to see it because they're like, no, those are the guys that did Daddy's.
enough, enough.
So maybe they should have stopped at this.
Their
But yeah.
chemistry in that first fight, where he's like talking about like how Mark Wahlberg's character is like, I was about to go talk
Oh
all this
yeah.
crap to you behind your back. I'm gonna do it to your face. And then that fight, just like imagine that fight happens in your office. Like the
I
whole
know.
tuna like lion now. Tuna like lion. Like all that. Like, what would you even do?
I don't know, especially with Mark Wahlberg, because that's one note I made is that I feel like he's this unhinged in real life. Like I feel like he's always this angry. He's always yelling at somebody, and he actually hates Will Ferrell.
That was so funny when he like admitted his defeat and he just poured the coffee on Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
That's so perfect. That whole fight was
that
so
is
perfect.
that is funny though that, and they did call it out in one scene, but like for all the shit that they do, the police department that they're in is so calm. Like nobody ever says anything.
Yeah.
But oh, and I also said that I think because that part it's before the fight when Will Ferrell's just typing and like smiling. That part made me laugh so hard. But I think Will Ferrell is just one of those like Jim Carrey. He's one of those actors that he can do anything and I just start laughing.
Yeah.
He's just like sitting there smiling like an idiot, and I just could not stop laughing. And then also the part where everybody's bullying Will Ferrell.
Oh,
Those two other guys are bullying him. I just put that. I think grown men being bullied. It's kind of funny.
yeah. The way he handles it is such a funny way to deal with confrontation. He's like, yeah, I don't really like that. So,
Oh, yeah. He's like, I know you guys have fun with that word, but I don't really like it.
uh, like I don't get how they come up with all of this. Like I have so many good quotes. Like whenever that you find out that Mark Wahlberg's character shoots Derek Jeter on accident,
Oh yeah.
like one of the other cops calls him a biracial angel.
Somebody says you should have shot A-Rod.
Yeah.
I bet. I wonder if it works like a well, it's just the two of them, but because it's two writers, but how I picture it is like a writer's room where you just like you throw out this idea of him shooting Derek Jeter and like, okay, so what would they say in that group? And then people just shout things out.
Yeah.
That's how
That's
I
not.
would do it, maybe. Like I would that's how I do it in my mind where I'm like, okay, so this situation's happening. Is there any joke that can happen? But I
Mm,
also am not a comedy writer, so I don't know. But
yeah.
going away from the writing, but I really liked how they filmed it. I
Hmm.
think I saw this specifically when Michael Keaton's character was like talking to them, and I think there was some chase happening, and so all of that happening and the filming, like it was really grainy in the way that like not exactly how Good Time or Uncut Gems is, but that's the only one I could think of where it was filmed really well and not in the way that most comedies are, where it feels like really fake and really bright. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't do that for this one. And it also made me want to look at the poster of it, and I feel like they could have done a better poster. I don't mind it, but I feel like it's really silly. And this movie's silly, but it's rooted in a world that's very real. And so if they would have had a more like gritty kind of poster, maybe it would have worked better. I don't
Hmm.
know. But if you have Will Ferrell in a movie, you're gonna want like a comedy, like funny poster.
Yeah.
Um,
I think our next note is pretty much the exact same thing.
yep.
Like, there goes my hero with them jumping off. Like right after he says, "Aim for the bushes" in downtown New York, like New York City. That's so funny.
He's falling. That
That
part was so fucking funny.
I laughed so many times in this movie, but that was the hardest one because I don't remember that song. I remember for the bushes, but when that song came on, I was like, "Why?" It's just perfect.
And you see them go all the way down. That was so funny that they just on Impact too. I have one thing on Impact though that I didn't like is that there would be more blood.
Oh
It'd be more
yeah.
gory, but I know why they didn't do that. But I thought that was fucking hilarious.
You think The
Also, I
Rock
didn't
bleeds?
probably not. He's just a rock, isn't he? He's just made out
That's
of
how he got
rock.
his name.
Yeah. And I also realized at this time that Ice-T is narrating.
Oh, yeah.
Because I knew who it was, but I couldn't place it. And I was like, I'll figure it out if he talks again. And then he did. And I was like, oh, there he is. That's him. And then I had a question. Who would you want to narrate your life? I think Ice-T's a good choice, but
Snoop Dogg would be hilarious.
ooh. I think I'd want somebody with an accent. I think I'd want like ooh, you know the guy, oh, what's his name? Bill Nye? It's not Bill Nye the Science Guy. But Bill Nighy. He
No
played
idea.
Davy Jones, and
Oh, that's a
he
good
has a
one.
good voice. He has a really good voice. But yeah, that's who I
Or
would
like
want.
Javier Bardem.
Ooh, yeah. I just love an accent.
I see you.
All right. Oh, and the next thing, the other thing that I think is genius in this movie is the fight at the funeral.
Oh,
Fucking
that's
amazing.
that's my next note too. Like that silent fight, so funny. I don't know if you caught the line at the end where he's like, Me and you next time at the library."
No.
That like that's so iconic. Whoa.
And like all of them are whispering, and then comes in and he's like, guys, stop.
The silent fight.
And then they
That's so
stop when that lady pops like
funny.
walks by.
They're like,
So if you're lost.
you're good, you're good.
And I put too that I just really hope that this movie kept up that momentum. Because part of me was like, oh, I don't know if these like really funny parts are really like too close to each other and it's too front loaded. I
Mhm.
was nervous that, and I have some thoughts later, but well, that's my note at this moment is that I hope that they keep the momentum. Oh, and I had a fun fact from that Office Ladies podcast.
Oh, I've
'Cause
been meaning to listen to that.
it's pretty good. Rob Riggle was the cop that yelled that library thing, I think.
Hmm.
And he was actually in the Marine Corps. So fun fact.
He looks like he was.
Yeah, when she said that, I wasn't surprised. Yeah. Oh, and my next note was how have they not been fired? Because this was when they were trying to beat those other guys, Rob Riggle and Damon Wayans Jr. They were trying to beat them to that crime scene.
Oh.
Because them two, they're partners, and then Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell are partners, and they want to be like the new hotshots because now the hotshots are dead. Um, and I
Hmm.
just didn't understand how they were not fired, but it's
Yeah.
a movie, so. And then my next note is whenever they go to and Will Ferrell invites him over to dinner, and he was like, "I just got to warn you, my wife's a bit of a bitch." And I like the idea of his wife being like super hot, but I don't know. I feel like he was too mean to her. And they
Oh,
kind of I forgot that they like explained it in the end when he was like, "Oh,
yeah.
I'm scared if I admit that you are like really attractive that you'll leave or whatever." But I don't know. He was like super mean to her. And I don't know if that wasn't like that funny to me.
Yeah.
But it's
I would
funny
have
to me like when
felt
he's sorry, go
I would
on.
have felt weird if they didn't have that, like if they didn't explain it. But I don't know.
Uh, I think in the moment I was like, what? I mean, the one part that I did like is when he said that she was dressed like a hobo. That was kind of
Oh.
funny. You're coming up here dressed like a hobo. That was funny. Oh, and then I skipped a lot, but whenever they need to go get the that phone message, and so they have to go to his ex-girlfriend's house, and his
Oh,
and her husband's there. First of all, that's Brett Gelman, and I fucking love him. He's
he's
so
so
funny
funny.
and like everything. But I loved whenever they escaped and then they were sitting down like listening to the message and then they were running. And I don't know if you caught the line, but he was like, "We were 20 miles away."
Yeah. That's what I'm
And I was,
saying. Like there's so those perfect one-liners. Oh
yeah.
man.
And that was so surprising, like, because I feel like some of it comedies can be you can like kind of see that joke coming from miles away, but you would never like I would have never guessed that they were still running after them.
Yeah.
So that's fucking hilarious. And I was also hoping that when they're at the bar, that the husband and wife would show up there. But it was even funnier that he was like singing along to those
Oh,
whatever those were. That was funny.
I completely forgot about that. And I like just watched the movie. Bro, there's so many like little random stuff. Like they were just like, "Oh, what if we have this? Oh, that'd be perfect. Oh, if we add this." And then like each thing it ends up like playing off. Like the whole peacock thing, this is kind of jumping towards the end. Just like a tiny thing, but like a peacock flies at the end whenever
Yeah.
they like it all. I don't know. I really like that part. Like it just wasn't. I don't know. I feel like good movie. I don't know.
Well,
But,
and jokes like that can be sometimes I can smell it from a mile away when comedies do this, where like you see like something with the peacock or with his wife being hot or just like stuff like that where you see like oh they keep putting this in there because they want to build up to some joke and then the joke happens and it's not funny. But this one, that whole him like getting up to sing, that didn't build up to anything. It was just funny. And it was
so
random, but it was still like it still didn't it there's some I don't know if I can't really explain this well, but some comedies will do random shit like that and you're like, "Well, that wasn't funny. I don't understand why they did that." They're like you can tell they when they were writing it, they were thinking of jokes and they're like, "Oh, we'll just throw that in."
Yeah.
And this was kind of like that, but it still worked really well. And I think the fact that Mark Wahlberg like didn't really call it out, like he just like sat there and he was kind of annoyed, but he didn't like make too much of a comment about it, was really genius. And then he was like, the only thing he said about it is was like, well, these songs are really dark, and he's like, yeah.
I love the history. The history is so rich.
And that's
Yeah.
it. And they don't talk about it ever again, and he doesn't sing ever again.
And it
Like
cuts
that's
to
genius.
yeah.
They could have done that at the end where he's saying at some like like they could have cut that in again because it is really funny, but they at the service of the story and of like how funny it was, they just never go back to it.
They just let it die.
Yeah. God, so funny. And I keep jumping because I think at the end I didn't take as much notes.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was getting a little bored with it. Um, but I did like that they kept taking bribes and not
Oh,
knowing. Even though they did it like 2 or 3 times, I thought each time was really funny.
Jersey Boys wasn't good. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But right before that, there was a surprise entry of Zach Woods. I don't know if you remember
Mhm. Yeah, that was
when
really funny.
where the I guess no, not the ultimate villain. What's the dude's name? I don't remember his name. Something
I
with
don't
an
remember
E.
either. I know the actor's name, Steve Coogan.
Well, Steve was walking, and then Zach Woods came up and was like, "Hello," and then he was like, "How's the walk?" And he says, "Oh, she's dead." He's like, "Good, good."
He said,
He
"Good
like
on
walks
you."
off. Yeah, something like that. That's so funny.
Oh, and then
Yes.
another joke that happened, which was also a funny joke, but Will Ferrell's character has a Prius, and the car
Mhm.
gets stolen from like I forgot where it got stolen from. Um, and so they a running joke is that his car is like basically a bitch car, but also a bunch of homeless people would like go and like have orgies in it. And whenever they came back and the guy was called Dirty Mike, and they were like telling how they're gonna find his car and they're gonna have another orgy in it. My fun fact that I knew before I looked it up is the homeless guy is the director, Adam
I
McKay.
didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah. Um, and now we're at the part where they go to that lawyer's office. Because my another fun fact is Ben Schwartz is in this movie, and I did not know
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know it either. I typed Ben Schwartz all in caps in mine. But right before that, when they go and they get drunk before that, like directly before that scene,
Oh yeah,
that bar scene is super cool. Like
yeah. I forgot to comment about that.
it's like a still, like everything's frozen, but you see their events as they go through the night. Without, because I feel like they condensed that whole night into like 30 seconds, which was really cool. It just showed like them drinking, Will Ferrell's like peeing, and then Mark Wahlberg's like showing everyone that his badge. I don't know. That was a cool scene. It was just such
I
a
like the way that
random,
they did it,
yeah,
and it's better. It's kind of better than a montage. I
yeah.
mean, because it is one, but it's like just stills. I think it went on a little bit too long, but I liked it a lot though.
I feel like it was nice because the alternative to that is like when everything's moving real fast, but then it goes normal speed for like these big events. So it'll be like
Yeah.
Will Ferrell bites someone, and then everything will happen fast until something else crazy happens. I feel like this was a nice alternative.
And I'm curious too how they shot it because the look is really interesting. It looks kind of like 3D. So
Almost, yeah.
I'm interested how they if they just took pictures and then they like animated that somehow or if they actually shot it. If it was like one of those things that takes a bunch of pictures at once, so you just put them all in one image. I don't know. I'm interested about that.
Yeah, I'm sure
Um,
you could find that online, but that is
Probably.
cool. And then like right after that, when you see Ben Schwartz in all his glory, there's funny that I wrote. It was, well, I was like, last night I think I mistaked a tube of toothpaste for astronaut food.
Yeah,
Like,
such a stupid
I just
line.
I don't get how you come up with this stuff.
I bet somebody got drunk and did that.
Probably. That's a real story.
Oh, and I put kind of like what your note was, is there's just so many good jokes in here that are just like kind of throwaway jokes, but are so fucking funny. And it's when Damon Wayans Jr. and Rob Riggle's characters are at that school,
Oh,
and then they had get a call because they're like, because Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg are like going rogue or something. And then they're like, oh, we got to go pass the guns up. And then the kids are passing their guns up to the front.
so funny.
So fun.
Who
Oh,
wants
and
to go
then
for a ride
another,
along? That's what she's. Oh, and then
and then
that kid. Sorry for cutting you off, but that kid. They cut to later. That kid that they bring with them for that ride along, is in the back seat of their car and just like flying because they're going so
oh my
fast.
god,
It's perfect.
I don't think I caught that. Another good joke in there was when they were before that happened. Damon Wayans Jr.'s character said, "So two things you need to know about not being arrested: try your hardest to not be black or Hispanic."
Try your very hardest. Oh, I couldn't stop laughing. Oh,
So good. That I think that's my not like one of my favorite scenes too, is when they pass up the guns. Oh my god, I could not stop laughing. And then I have two last notes, and I just said that I don't think, I mean, I think it did keep a consistent energy, but I really loved the first half so much more than the second half. And for me, there was a huge discrepancy between those two. But yeah, like not like in a bad way. I still like the movie overall, but I feel like it was my prediction of it being front loaded was it came true to me. But
okay.
yeah. Overall it's a really good movie though. And
Um.
then my last note is I really like the credits.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you looked at those, but those are actually really informative.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just had like facts about Ponzi schemes, and
How they work.
it was very it reminded me that this guy also did The Big Short,
Mm.
and that was
Okay.
you could tell he's really interested in stuff like that. And he also wrote and I think produces a show called Succession that I really love, and it's about basically the like the Madoff family. So you could tell he's like really interested in that and like money and financial stuff. But yeah.
All right. I have four more notes. Honestly, they're just jokes. I don't know if I agree about the movie being front loaded, just because there's so many good for me. There's just so many funny one-liners in the second half that it makes
Yeah.
it for me. Like whenever they're trying to coerce the kid to not jump, he's like looking up. He's like, "Oh wait, he's flying," and then he
Oh.
falls. I don't know
Yeah.
why that got me. And then just every time, whenever the captain, the police captain, also works at Bed
Oh
Bath and
yeah.
Beyond,
Forgot about that.
and then he's like, "Oh, by the way, there's a rapist loose at
Yeah.
in this neighborhood." He's like, "Oh wait, that's my other job. Sorry, disregard
But
that. Unless you live in
you
that
live in the area.
neighborhood." Yeah. Um, and then that police captain just keeps on quoting
Oh,
TLC, which is super random.
he's like, no scrubs.
Don't go chasing waterfalls, okay?
Yeah, that
Um,
was kind of.
yeah. And
You know what?
then
Oh, sorry. Go on.
the last two that I have
Uh-huh.
is when the last like fight scene almost when Iggy Thump plays by the White Stripes.
Yeah.
That I like that part. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
whenever at the very end, whenever they catch the bad guys, I forgot who it was, but someone says, "I hope you like prison food and penis."
It was Damon Wayne Jr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so funny. That's my last one. I I love that movie.
It's really good. And I don't, when I say that though, I think just for me, if I'm being like critical about this movie, just my absolute favorite parts, and I think the parts that make the movie really good are all in the beginning.
Okay.
And like throughout I was entertained, but it wasn't as like, I don't know. I think at the end, I don't know exactly what I would put in to make it funnier, and there's no way you can like change the things at the beginning to happen at the end.
Yeah.
But I wish that I would have still kept that energy, because then it would have been like a flawless movie. I think it was a really good movie, and I really liked it. But Yeah.
Agreed. I like it.
So I think the 78 or whatever, 78 on Rotten Tomatoes is pretty accurate. Okay, so I have some fun facts from IMDb. The first one is that Brooke Shields, Tracy Morgan, and Rosie Perez are seen sitting beside Alan, which is Will Ferrell's character at the basketball game. And the fun fact part of this is that Chris Henchy, who co-wrote the script, is actually married to Brooke Shields.
Oh, that's a fun fact right there.
Yeah. The next one is so the movie's called The Departed, but because it's set in Boston, I always say The Departed. But in The Departed, which came out 2006, Mark Wahlberg has his famous line, "I'm the guy who does this job. You must be the other guy." Like that's a line he said in the movie.
The other guys.
And then 4 years later, he plays alongside Will Ferrell as a team of half-witted cops. So, interesting connection. And this is for me, a fun fact for me. But when Terry and Alan argue, they're standing next to a giant bull statue, and this is the second film in which Eva Mendes appeared that features this statue. The first being, you guessed it, Hitch.
You gave us no time to guess, but
Nope, and I knew exactly what part they're talking about, which is really sad. I know every second of that fucking movie. And the last one, which is probably my favorite one, is with the exception of their portraits during the funeral scene, The Rock and Samuel Jackson's character are never seen without their sunglasses on.
that's like for sure the writers are like, all right, you can never take off your glasses. That's perfect.
But yeah, some fun facts. Pretty fun.
I just liked all the little things in this movie, and that's why I'd probably give it a little bit more than 778 or whatever it was. But
I'd give it like maybe an 82.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's a solid movie. I could see myself watching it again, like because it was pretty enjoyable. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I would like to take before my pick. I think we have time. What time is it? Yeah, a little bit. I want to talk about South by. So,
yes.
We are going to try to figure out a way to bring it to this podcast, and I think we're going to try to do mini episodes. I don't know if this is like too much to tell people, but I kind of want to like give us some accountability where we said we're going to do this and we're going to do it. But hopefully this is something I hope that people will listen to this episode and like will tell us what they're interested in. And so this is kind of a call for people to comment or DM us about just what kind of questions they have and if they're interested in like the way a film festival works. Because I've been to South by, but this is the first time I've actually been in like having credentials at a film festival. And so if there's any way I can kind of make this accessible for a bunch of like other people if they're interested in a certain movie, if they want me to ask a question during a Q&A, if they want me to like tell them about my experience with like something as simple as how to get around, like I don't know, or if they want me to just like kind of compile a list of the movies I've seen, which ones I want to look out for. I want people to kind of give us what they want us to do, like what they're curious about, and I can kind of try to find out like if they're curious about if the badge is worth it, if there's other options, just stuff like that.
It's a good idea. Let us know, guys.
Yeah, and then do you have the handles? I always forget them for Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah. Twitter at Bro Sister Show, and then Instagram is at Brother Sister Show. And if you want to email us, it's thebrosispod@gmail.com.
And if you follow us on Instagram, that's where I have my personal one, but I'm going to be posting all about like kind of as an incentive to get people to follow us. I'm going to post everything that I do, like all of the stuff that I'm doing, kind of updating people on what's happening, like who I meet, all that stuff. I'm going to do it on our podcast Instagram. Exclusive content. I don't know. I just have never, as somebody who has always wanted to go and have been doing a lot of research about like tips on what to do, where to go, like how to kind of do it. There's not much out there for specific like film people, especially for ones that are not critics. And so I think hopefully I can kind of give some insight for people that are interested but are kind of too scared to do it. And I'm also doing it by myself, which is interesting. So I kind of be
Yeah.
forced to like talk to people. But we'll see. I think we're gonna try to do. I'm gonna get one of those like portable like voice recorders so I can kind of just be one of those weirdos talking to myself and like
Just in the
because
corner.
us yeah because I have a really bad memory, so I want to get um a good glimpse of what is happening. I want to do like updates but also talk about the movies that I've seen. And I think that's the best way to do it. But yeah, so I'm excited. Right now I'm making my schedule, and I think I've told you, and I've probably said it on the podcast, but I'm basically going to be watching movies from like 11 until 1 in the morning, which is very interesting. So if I'm probably going to go insane. So we'll see what happens.
It'll be
Um,
awesome.
I know I'm very excited. But yeah, okay, so for my pick, I looked at a lot of different movies, a lot of different options for streaming services. And surprisingly, Hulu has a lot of like new movies on right now. They just added a bunch of stuff.
Cool.
Um, but I didn't pick from Hulu. That it was just it made my decision even harder. But because of one of the movie news things, I kind of was inspired to do this, and it is risky because I think the episodes we have that don't do the best are than when I pick old movies.
Yeah.
But I want to try to turn this into something that's good. So we'll see. And I also don't like to dictate what I do. But I did the same thing you did where I put in white text.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
But
gosh.
we're going to watch Candyman,
That'd be cool.
the original one. So let me see. I don't have the synopsis up, but because there's a new one and I did see it as a sequel, so I didn't want to watch the same movie, you know.
Yeah.
But so Candyman, the original one came out in 1992. And it's about a grad student, Helen Lyle, unintentionally summons the Candyman, a hook-handed creature made flesh by other people's belief in him. So, there you go. Sounds like the Boogeyman, or not Boogeyman, but what's that one where you say her name and then she pops in the mirror?
I don't say her name.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah. Oh.
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 So,
Alright, guys, it's just gonna be me from now on. Livia has died by that lady.
I was snatched in a mirror. Um,
Cool.
but yeah,
I'm excited.
so I'm excited because I don't know when the other one comes out, but I think it'll be fun to kind of, for one, I love scary movies and we haven't watched one in a very long time. I also haven't, I've heard of that this one's actually really scary. So we'll see if it actually is. And I
We'll be
don't
the
really
judge
like,
of that.
yeah, I usually don't like scary movies from the 90s. I've never watched one that actually scared me. So we'll see if this one does. And I think it'd be cool to kind of, since the new one's gonna be a sequel, to try to figure out or like see what we think the sequel should be or what should happen. Um, but yeah, it'll be
Cool.
fun. I'm excited.
On
Candyman.
Netflix, alright?
Yeah, on Netflix.
Cool.
Hopefully it doesn't
Alright.
leave anytime soon.
Oh my god.
But but yeah, I'm excited. We'll see what happens.
Alright, I think that's pretty much it. Please, guys, let us know if you guys like what you're hearing in your ears right now. Let us know if you hate it. But, like, why? Let us know what you want to hear. We want to make
Like what I
something that you
said,
guys want to hear.
fan mail and hate mail. We'll take it all.
Yeah. Alright, guys. I don't even know. I was gonna say, like, I don't even know. How do
We
we
can end with
end?
so I don't know. So if you say Candyman 5 times, that's when he comes. So we can say it 4 times.
4
I'm kidding.
times. 4 times, and then the next episode we say the 5th one, and then we see if we can put out another episode. If we don't, then we're dead. Candyman, 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 Candyman. That's 4 times.
I was just
Blank
about to say
stare.
to watch it on Netflix.
Watch it on Netflix. We'll see
Don't
you
say it.
guys in the
Don't say
next
it
one.
again.
Or will not. Don't
Well,
don't see oh, don't see Candyman. We'll see you guys next time. Stay safe. Goodbye.
bye.